We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Just keep smiling through. Okay, let's stop it right there. I'm sure that was probably terrible for you to listen to, but figured it's been a while. Start off with a little singing, considering that the weird choice of this being a musical towards the with it being a sequel to Joker, which was a drastically different film from this. And I just a lot of mixed feelings about it. And yeah, let's head on into it. But right before we do that, though, one thing I would like to just shout out real quick. Obviously, my friend Fritski Alex um, he had his short film posted last night. I was at a friends and family little premiere watch party, so I already seen it, which is why it's not showing on my account here that I've seen it because we watched it all in person or whatever. But if you guys haven't had a chance to see it, I also did post it on my Instagram, so the link for this will be down below. Check that out. Check him out. Give the video a watch. Share it around. Please give him some support. He's worked a lot on that, and you know, just kind of heading on into the Joker. I'm not going to pronounce that. I'm too tired. I'm going to just call it Joker 2. Obviously, we see here pretty much almost exactly the same. When it's that close, it's pretty much just universal agree that critics don't like it, audience does not like it at all. And I don't blame them because going into this, right, I think I had maybe the lowest expectation for a film or really anything I had ever watched because going into it, and the only reason I even watched this a few days ago was because my dad and my Theo asked if I wanted to go with them, and I said yes because I wanted to, passing up a free trip to the movie theaters with how things are expensive, with how like expensive things are now, is usually never really that terrible of an option. But going into it, right, um, all my friends who had seen it said it was bad. All the spoiler-free reviews I saw said it was bad, and all the memes and discourse I saw on the internet about it said it was bad. So I was going in fully expecting me to be stuck in this situation where I'm expecting to watch a film that would probably be on, for me personally, like skin and marink levels of just unhappiness and just misery and not wanting to just be there or exist anymore. And I will admit, it did exceed my expectations a tiny bit, a very minor bit, you could say. And most of that is just because of the fact that I will admit I'm a Gaga fan. I like Gaga. She obviously took lead in the large majority of these of the musical scenes, and I liked her in Born to Be a Star. Didn't see House of Gucci. I won't talk about that, but I was really hoping they would do a little bit more with Gaga, but there really wasn't that much because they introduced her character, and slowly as they reveal more about the character, she gets a lot more interesting, and you think it's going to go one way, but then they don't do anything with it. So it's just disappointing. And then that combined with the way it's approached and what it is, it's just not that interesting. It doesn't really add anything really that new, which is kind of unfortunate because in the very beginning it looked very promising and then it kind of just fell off. And it's very clear that this was kind of just like a cash grab in the sense that the studio wanted another Joker movie. They wanted to try and recreate that giant, what was it, $1 billion? Was that what it made? Back in, oh my god, when did Joker? It was like what, 2019 was when the first Joker came out. Um, Hold on, I can just check here real quick. Yep, 2019. Okay, that's what I thought. So they want to recreate that magic from 2019, and obviously the director at the time said he wasn't going to make a sequel, but then of course Warner Bros. Corporate greed, they just threw a giant check at the director that was big enough for him to say, "Fuck it, I'll come back and make this," and we're just kind of stuck with this, and it's weird. I mean, we can obviously still watch the first Joker film and separate this from it, and still view it in all of its greatness, but like with this film, it's just it is very much a disappointment considering it is a sequel to Joker, obviously. So much of it is just not very fulfilling. Obviously, here, a 5.3 out of 10, a much more generous rating than on Tomatoes, which basically has that as if we were to just do basic percentages or transfer percentages into ratios, that was pretty much the audience and the critics agree that it's like a 3 out of 10. I'm I think it's probably realistically like in the middle, because if you ignore if you look at it separately from the first film, I think it's a kind of average film where it struggles. Like, it has a decent concept. Some of the scenes are well done, but it's just weird. There's some missed executions. They don't really go any further, like exploring Harley Quinn, or really, it's weird because like they hint that she's gonna be play an important role in the beginning, and then she just kind of doesn't, and all this other stuff that with the entire plot of the film that I'll get into in like the spoiler section, that is just kind of just disappointing. So I mean, if you kind of ignore, like, that's also the other problem with grading sequels and stuff like that, is that obviously you have to rely on the information that is previously provided. So I think it's just in a situation where I don't know if a 3 out of 10. I'm gonna be a little bit generous. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. Um, if I rewatch it again at some point, which I probably won't, there's a chance I'll probably move it down. But I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna say it's 4 out of 10. It's below average, and just probably an easy skip, especially with hopefully what I hope is a good movie coming out soon, Piece by Piece. I'm really excited for that. Like, if you're debating about going to the movie theater, I think skipping this and waiting for Piece by Piece, in my opinion, something a lot better. But yeah, so that's kind of my explanation of it. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. Like I said, I wouldn't really recommend that you go see it. And yeah, those are my main kind of spoiler free critiques of it, because I don't want to say too much and accidentally like slip up or anything about the plot, which it's just not that great. There's nothing really new added to it. And yeah, so I will see you guys in the spoiler section where we kind of talk about some of the more in depth parts of it that I just did not like. Welcome to the spoiler section. Minor warning for pretty heavy subject in this, because there's pretty bad scene that it's heavily implied. They don't really show it, obviously, but I really hope you did not hear my stomach growling there. But warning, just trigger warning for essay, grape. So fair warning. But going into it, the thing I was probably most disappointed about was Harley Quinn, Lady Gaga's character, obviously, because throughout the film, it was getting really interesting because they were showing that she wasn't really crazy. She was kind of normal. And in fact, she came from a good household, went to college, had a psychology degree similar to Harley in the comics, but the difference is that she is obsessed with the Joker character. She uses her psychology degree to manipulate Arthur to bring out Joker, and when Joker, and when he does bring out Joker, she constantly gives him what he wants, or gives him affirmations, positive affirmations. And because of that, he keeps doing it because he thinks that he's finally found love and that he's no longer alone in the world, and it gives him a sense of purpose. So then he brings out the Joker, which I thought it was going to go into a situation where they'd find a way to free him, because she kept kind of hinting at, like, oh, he's going to walk out of here, he's going to walk out of here. And I felt like it was going to be a situation where Arthur allows himself to be completely consumed by Joker, and kind of, and just he escapes and all hell breaks loose, kind of in a way where Bruce Banner would lose control of the Hulk and he would just go on a rampage. I thought it was gonna be something kind of like that situation, but obviously it didn't, and that is because of um, the trigger warning scene, which I'll talk about right now. In case you have not seen the film and you're just watching the spoiler section, the lead up to it is during one of his parades in court. He badmouths the guards. The guards don't like it. When he comes back after the court hearing, they beat the shit out of him. They drag him through the hall. They throw him into walls, and then they take him to the shower room where they strip him naked. And they cut to a different scene, and it is them carrying him back to his cell. They throw him onto the bed, and you can see he's stiff as a board. Eyes are completely terrified, and he's just not even moving. And obviously, with the way they were acting and talking, and then bringing him into the shower room, you can kind of figure out what they're implying there. And it's even worse when the next day he goes into court, no makeup, no nothing, and pretty much just sits down, shaking, and he admits that Joker isn't real. He was just like a fake character, and that he actually did commit all those murders. Arthur did, and that Joker just doesn't exist. Which I can see how that can work with, if they did do that to him in the shower, that he's so scared about um, defying them again that he'll say whatever to keep them off of him as a survival tactic, which again would be another proof of him being a victim of Gotham City society and a lot of the government that works within it, right? Which is something that obviously the defense brings up in the courtroom and stuff that we see in the first film. But because of that scene and him recanting, basically disavowing the Joker character, Harley loses interest. A lot of his supporters do lose some interest, but obviously after that scene, it blows up. He tries reconnecting with Harley. That's when he realizes that she's been just kind of manipulating him for Joker, and then she leaves him, and he's so distraught and despair that he willingly just gives himself back up to the police when they show up. So I'm not going to talk about the end just yet. We'll talk about the musicals real quick. They weren't terrible. Obviously, they did rely a lot on Lady Gaga, and like that wasn't a problem with me. I love Gaga, like I said earlier, but it's pretty obvious they were relying on her a lot. She did the majority of the singing. Phoenix singing wasn't terrible. I mean, he does have a little bit of experience because of his time on. Hold on, give me one moment. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. We were talking about musicals, right? Yeah. So musicals. Um, Kind of talked about Gaga. Oh yeah, we were talking about Phoenix. So obviously Phoenix starred in the, what was it called? It was I Walked the Line. It was the Johnny Cash biopic, which, in case you didn't tell, I kind of went with the Johnny Cash version of "We'll Meet Again," mainly because my voice is kind of raspy right now and I can't sing for shit. So I tried going for that kind of deeper, more rugged voice to it. So he has a little bit of experience. He wasn't terrible, but I mean, obviously he's not going to be anywhere near the levels of Gaga, but those ones weren't too bad. Um, the Looney Tunes parody at the very, very beginning of the film, I did really like a lot. I thought it was pretty funny. But besides for that, again, like there really isn't too much new. A lot of the courtroom scenes and just a lot of the scenes in general rehash events from previously. Um, the entire film is pretty much either rehashing previous stuff or just reinforcing the fact. I'm sorry about that. Reinforces the fact that like in the movie, right, society kind of is continuing to film, especially in Arkham, and obviously with the scene later on and throughout the film when they harass him and make him do all these other things, defeat his cigarette addiction and all that. But again, uh, it kind of like I know some people say like, oh, it just all gets undone or whatever. But I mean, I can kind of see why he came out and disavowed the Joker character. Like there's a reasonable explanation for it, but it's just I don't know if that was really something they should have done. Like I said, I would have much preferred it where Harley was able to successfully manipulate Arthur into completely giving in to the Joker persona, and then it escalating and basically turning the entire city into chaos. But that's just me. I mean, granted, most people did not like this film, so I guess we all kind of agree there. But going on to the ending, because there really isn't much else to talk about in this film. Like I said, um, the ending is just questionable, right? Because the whole point of the first film was that it was a one-off story in a completely separate universe. And then this gets made because of corporate greed, and they throw a fat paycheck at the director, and he says, "Okay, I'll just make a half-baked idea that is kind of interesting and whatever, right? Easy cash grab for him. I don't know how much money this will make Warner Bros, but either way, the very end was just also very questionable because obviously Arthur gets killed, gets stabbed, and the guy who stabs him then proceeds to laugh maniacally while using his shank to give himself scars on the edge of his mouth in the shape of a smile, which obviously, you've seen the film and you're probably hearing as I'm describing it, you're now putting one and two together that there's a reason I used the why so serious type of what would you call it even text, I guess, or not subtitles, headline or whatever the fuck it's called. I use the why so serious font style on this because of the fact that they were hinting at that being Heath Ledger's Joker, or at least a variant of it, or like some type of inspiration of it. But it's just, it's weird, man. Like, why? Like, this is already supposed to be its own separate thing, not connected to the Pattinson's Batman, obviously not connected to um, Bale's Batman. I don't know why Christian Bale was so hard to think of right there, but like this was supposed to be its own separate thing, its own separate one-off thing. Obviously, this gets made, and then they decide to just throw in that like curveball at the end, or it's not even a curveball. It's just like I guess the best way to describe it is it's like oh, why am I? It's like a knuckleball, you know. Um, in case you don't know what a knuckleball is, it's a type of baseball pitch where it had where the ball you throw the ball with zero spin, which causes it to make really wacky movements, and it's highly unpredictable, and you can't really. It's really hard to catch, which is why like people kind of struggle to throw it, and then also catchers kind of struggle with all that stuff, right? I think a knuckleball is like the perfect example for not only this film but also just the ending because there's so many weird creative decisions within this that it's just so like just weirdly unpredictable, and it's just not a good outcome, you know. So yeah, I think the knuckleball is probably a pretty good explanation for this film, but yeah, I mean, there's really much else to talk about because a lot of it is just like I said, rehashing shit from the first film. Um, Most of it, if they're not rehashing from the first film, they're just reinforcing the narrative from the first film that society is continuously failing him. And then there's, of course, the fact that Harley was also pushing him more into the Joker persona. And then obviously that failed when he was dragged into the shower rooms and violated and all that stuff. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Obviously, I think this is a very clear cash grab. I don't like the fact that they threw that. No, I mean, the entire film was just a knuckleball. It was weird in movement. It was just, it wasn't like super like unpredict. Like, I mean, it was kind of a little unpredictable, but it was just a knuckleball and just every aspect of it, the concept, the execution, some of the creative choices, and like the ending, like it was just all so, it's such a weird enigma to watch. Which, in case you don't know what a like, if you really don't know what a knuckleball is, just YouTube or just search like knuckleball slow mo, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But like, it truly was just really fucking weird. But did you guys like it? Let me know down below. What do you guys think about it? You want to see more stuff that I'll hopefully should be posting more? Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and to all the people who are already part of the posse, thank you very much for being here with me and sticking through my giant leaps of absence and stuff like that. I hope I can continue to post more, and that's really it. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.